Losing My Virginity, the globally acclaimed autobiography by entrepreneur Richard Branson, offers a riveting account of his lucrative exploits, beginning with his decision to drop out of school, start a record label, and embark on an ambitious speedboat voyage across the Atlantic. The book masterfully illustrates the roles of intelligence, determination, and risk-taking on the path to becoming one of the world's wealthiest individuals. This book will particularly resonate with those intrigued by billionaire Richard Branson, the visionary behind one of the most influential and prosperous corporations of the 20th century, who helmed an airline, founded numerous businesses, and broke various world records in skydiving and sea crossing. Even those unfamiliar with Branson's exceptional story will find the book captivating, as it narrates how this unconventional CEO shattered business norms to achieve outstanding results, creating a business empire like billionaire Richard Branson. How can one simultaneously spearhead an airline, a chain of record stores, a record label, a nightclub, and a railroad company, while still finding the energy and time to establish a world record in hot air ballooning? Richard Branson is undeniably extraordinary, a daring adventurer with exceptional business instincts. When combined with creativity and determination, this potent mix paves the way for success despite countless setbacks and obstacles throughout his life. In Losing My Virginity, Branson recounts several pivotal events that shaped his persona. His candid nature, risk-taking attitude, and unwavering resolve, and enabled him to revolutionize the music and aviation industries. If you view business as a mundane undertaking, prepare to have your perspective transformed. By immersing yourself in Branson's tumultuous and exhilarating life stories, you will discover why opting to challenge the status quo can yield numerous advantages in business and beyond. You will uncover the unique challenges Branson's family presented him during childhood, which stimulated his imagination, cultivated his risk-taking abilities, and laid the groundwork for his entrepreneurial spirit. His daring mission to Baghdad to rescue hostages from Saddam Hussein amid an escalating war. Breaking boundaries. The early life of Richard Branson. Born in 1950 into a family that prized independence, Branson was encouraged from a young age to push his limits and embrace challenges. This nurturing environment instilled in him an insatiable appetite for adventure and a willingness to tackle obstacles head-on, whether presented by his mother or life itself. At the tender age of 11, Branson's mother tasked him with visiting relatives who lived 50 miles away, a journey he was to complete by bicycle. Without directions, this experience taught him resilience, endurance, and navigation skills. Upon his triumphant return home the next day, instead of a hero's welcome, he was directed to the vicar's house to cut firewood. This wasn't the first time the Branson family had pushed him to overcome adversity. During a 2-week family vacation in Devon when he was just 4 years old, his aunt challenged him to learn how to swim within a fortnight, wagering 10 shillings and old British currency on his success. Embracing the challenge, Branson spent countless hours learning to swim in the sea. Sadly, on the final day of his holiday, he still couldn't manage to swim above the waves. Undeterred, he viewed this not as an end but as an opportunity to persevere. On the journey home, he spotted a river and asked his father to stop the car. He undressed, raced to the riverbank, and plunged into the water. Initially, he began to sink but gradually managed to stay afloat by paddling slowly and steadily. Midstream, he saw his family applauding in approval, his aunt waving the 10-shilling note. When Branson emerged from the water, his father engulfed him in a tight, waterlogged embrace. Observing his son's head dipping back into the water, he grew impatient and dove in to join the boy. Mirroring his perseverance and determination in the face of adversity, These early experiences, as chronicled in Losing My Virginity, helped shape Branson's unwavering resolve and passion for pushing boundaries. Traits that would propel him to great heights in the realms of business, aviation, and beyond. Redirecting focus. Branson's journey from academia to pop culture journalism. Struggling with academia, partly due to his independent nature and dyslexia diagnosis, Branson began exploring alternative passions. Alongside his best friend, Johnny Gems, he established Student Magazine, a platform initially intended to express their dissatisfaction with school, which rapidly evolved into a vibrant intersection of student culture and current affairs. Building a magazine from the ground up was no small feat, with numerous hurdles to overcome. Securing financial backing for a non-existent publication posed a significant challenge for Branson and Johnny. Undeterred, Branson devised a shrewd approach to engage potential advertisers. To persuade the National Bank of Westminster, Branson claimed that their competitor, Lloyds Bank, had already committed to advertising, inquiring if they would like to be featured alongside them. This strategy paid off, securing students' first £250 in funding. As the magazine grew in prominence, Branson and Johnny's dedication to student began to overshadow their academic pursuits, leading them to depart Stowe and relocate to a London basement. Here, they edited and distributed the magazine, attracting a dedicated team of senior contributors to the cramped space. Despite his dyslexia, a significant factor in his academic struggles and consistently low grades, Branson devoted more time and effort to editing and writing for the magazine than to any school assignment. With grand ambitions, Branson and Johnny sought to cover international events, like the wars in Biafra and Vietnam. They proposed a collaboration with the Daily Mirror, offering exclusive stories from a reporter in Vietnam. The Mirror agreed, enabling student to fund a similar report from Biafra. Though interested in politics, students' primary focus was music, featuring exclusive interviews with the likes of Keith Richards, John Lennon, and Yoko Ono, as well as articles on club events and live performances. Reflecting on his remarkable journey, Branson asserts, "To be successful, you have to go out and do things with full energy." This unwavering commitment to his passions would ultimately pave the way for his rise to entrepreneurial success and prominence, the birth of Virgin Mail Order. Revolutionizing music distribution. Recognizing the untapped potential of the music industry, Branson observed that the enthusiasm for records was unparalleled. Yet distribution through conventional record stores was unsatisfactory. People were willing to spend 40 shillings on a new Beatles record at a major store, simply because there were no alternatives. Seizing the opportunity, Branson envisioned a mail order system that would appeal to his peers, providing a more affordable and convenient option than large retail stores like W.H. Smith's. After discussing the concept with his colleagues at Student, they agreed on the need for an attention-grabbing name that would resonate with a broader audience beyond the student community. After considering various options, one of the team members suggested Virgin, reflecting their inexperience in the business world. And thus, Virgin Mail Order came into existence. In the final issue of Student Magazine, Branson strategically placed an ad for the mail order service, generating an unprecedented influx of orders and cash. The beauty of this venture lay in its pre-order mechanism, which provided the company with upfront capital to purchase records and maintain financial stability. Branson enlisted his childhood friend and collaborator Nick as an accountant, and together they devised a plan to buy records directly from local stores and record companies, enabling Virgin to offer competitive prices. Throughout the 1970s, Virgin Mail Order experienced immense success. However, A significant obstacle emerged in January 1971 when the post office went on strike, disrupting the flow of money and records between Virgin customers. The rise of Virgin record stores, transforming the retail landscape. In 1971, mainstream retail stores were dominated by light-hearted trends, with little attention given to the rock music genre. When the postal strike hit, Virgin seized the opportunity to establish its own physical record store, aiming to expand upon the sense of community fostered by Student magazine. They envisioned a space where customers felt welcome, encouraged to engage in conversations and exchange ideas. Identifying an unoccupied floor above a shoe store on Oxford Street, Virgin negotiated with the owner to secure the location for their store. Despite their inability to pay rent, Branson's astute business sense and persuasion skills convinced the owner to let them use the space for free, highlighting the potential influx of customers that would pass through his store to visit Virgin. Virgin's flagship store became an instant success, prompting Branson and his team to shift their focus towards opening additional stores across England, all while maintaining their mail-order operations in anticipation of the strike's resolution. By Christmas 1972, Virgin had established 14 record stores across the country. However, the unique atmosphere they sought to cultivate posed a challenge in maintaining both their desired ambience and profitability. Their stores became popular hangout spots, but this influx of visitors did not translate into sales. Their comfortable environment inadvertently transformed Virgin stores into date venues. To remedy the situation, Virgin implemented strategic changes, installing brighter lights and repositioning the cashier counter by the window as a subtle reminder that customers were entering a retail store rather than a social club. This approach proved successful, with sales significantly improving within just 2 months, elevating the music industry. The expansion of Virgin into recording studios and labels. In pursuit of greater profitability and transformation within the music industry, Branson set his sights on establishing a recording studio and record label. Recognizing the limitations imposed by the rigid and overly serious approach of existing studios, he envisioned a dynamic and engaging environment that would foster the spirit and energy of rock and pop music. Reminiscent of the 1960s. In 1971, at just 21 years old, Branson embarked on a quest to acquire a countryside property to transform into an inviting recording space for musicians. Upon discovering a picturesque 17th-century manor house adorned with iron gates and nestled in idyllic countryside, he encountered a significant hurdle: the property's £30,000 price tag, equivalent to nearly £500,000 today. Despite Virgin's growth, the company's profits fell short of the asking price. Undeterred, Branson secured a £20,000 mortgage from the Bank of England after demonstrating the financial success of Virgin Mail Order and Virgin Music Store. His aunt further supported his endeavour by mortgaging her house to lend him an additional £7,500. With this support, Branson successfully acquired the estate. Simultaneously, Branson established Virgin Records, aligning the record label with the Virgin Group. This strategic move allowed the company to discover and sign artists, provide them with recording facilities while generating additional revenue, and promote and sell records through Virgin's chain of stores, reaping the benefits of retail profit margins. Mike Oldfield became Virgin Records' first signed artist. Oldfield recorded Tubular Bells at Virgin Manor between 1972 and 1973. A record that sold over 13 million copies and propelled Branson's company to unprecedented success. Legal challenges and victories. Virgin's promotion of the controversial Sex Pistols album. In the late 1970s, the Sex Pistols emerged as a provocative and influential rock band, deemed a threat to societal norms in the UK. They faced bans on their performances, although their impact in the US was less pronounced. Their unique musical power and unapologetic independence inspired countless bands in both countries. By 1976, Virgin faced financial struggles, as their operations involving big-name artists, excluding Mike Oldfield, were losing money. With punk rock, characterized by offensive content and expressions of social dissent, on the rise, it was time for Virgin to sign a punk band. In May 1977, Virgin inked a deal with the Sex Pistols, managed by Malcolm McLaren, who hoped to quickly sever ties with their previous label due to the band's controversial behavior, as they had done with EMI and A&M. Virgin's signing coincided with the release of the Sex Pistols' God Save the Queen, in celebration of Queen Elizabeth's 25th anniversary. A provocative performance in front of the British House of Commons led to McLaren's arrest and a public uproar. However, Virgin's lack of opposing shareholders thwarted McLaren's attempts to end the contract. In 1977, Virgin released and heavily promoted the Sex Pistols album, Never Mind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols, across their UK stores. The prominent use of the word bollocks, the slang term for testicles, led to the arrest of a Nottingham store manager and threats of a circulation ban from the police. Branson took action, enlisting linguist James Kinsley for the trial, who argued that bollocks referred to monks, not testicles. In this context, Kinsley further contended that even monks would not take offense to the phrase, "I don't mind the monks. This is the Sex Pistols." When the prosecutor questioned how Kinsley could be certain that the church would not be offended, he simply revealed his priest's collar beneath his polo shirt. Branson's fortunate discovery of a linguist priest led to the case's dismissal, acquiring a tropical paradise. Branson's artful deal for Necker Island. In 1978, Branson found himself living in New York to support his future wife, Joan, during her divorce proceedings. After finalizing the divorce, a curious inquiry about naming his company after the Virgin Islands piqued Branson's interest in the idyllic location as a potential romantic getaway. Upon learning that real estate offices would accommodate serious island buyers with villa stays and helicopter tours, Branson contacted an agent, expressing his desire for a retreat where Virgin music artists could unwind and record. Branson and Joan were subsequently invited to explore the breathtaking Necker Island, an incredibly private and stunning destination. Despite having no initial intention to purchase the island, Branson inquired about its price, which was set at a staggering £3 million, making an extremely low offer of £150,000. The couple was promptly dismissed from the villa. Returning to London, Branson discovered that the island's owner, an Englishman, was eager to close the sale to finance a £200,000 property purchase. Leveraging this information, Branson increased his offer to £175,000, eventually securing the deal for a mere £180,000, a fraction of the original asking price. This remarkable acquisition not only yielded an enchanting island paradise but also served as the foundation for Branson's next venture. When a flight back to Puerto Rico was cancelled, he chartered a plane for $2,000 and scribbled Virgin Airways, $39 a flight to Puerto Rico, on a blackboard, marking the inception of Virgin Airlines. Resurgence of Virgin Records. CD. Emergence and signing emerging artists. Despite having groundbreaking artists like the Sex Pistols and several new wave bands, Virgin struggled to achieve significant financial success in the early 1980s, resulting in a £900,000 sterling loss for Virgin Music in 1980. Branson, however, remained committed to signing new and promising artists such as Simple Minds, the Human League, and Phil Collins. This decision caused friction with the CFO, who disapproved of investing the company's limited funds in relatively unknown talent. Eventually, the CFO departed and sold his 40% stake to Branson, making him the sole owner of a company teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. Unforeseen by many, the meteoric rise of the compact disc CD format revitalized the music industry, as consumers clamored to purchase their favorite albums on the new medium. Capitalizing on this trend, Virgin reissued their catalog on CD, with Mike Oldfield's highly successful debut album significantly boosting the company's financial standing. Branson's unwavering confidence in talent scout and mentor Simon Draper proved to be a shrewd decision. The artists Draper brought in became immensely profitable, spearheading Virgin's ascent in the music industry. One notable example was the Human League's third album, Dare, which topped the UK charts, sold 1 million copies in the UK and 3 million worldwide. Virgin continued to introduce a seemingly endless stream of fresh, up-and-coming artists, including Phil Collins, Boy George, Culture Club, Simple Minds, XTC, and Heaven 17, all of whom achieved considerable success. As a result, Virgin transformed into an unrivaled independent label, exceeding all financial expectations, racking up £50 million in sales, £2 million in total profits in 1982, and skyrocketing to £11 million in 1983. Virgin Airways. From near bankruptcy to success under Branson's leadership. Intrigued by a playful reference to Virgin Airways in the late 1970s, Branson embraced the idea of establishing an airline. In 1984, an opportunity arose when an American lawyer named Randall Fields approached Branson about running a transatlantic airline. Despite initial opposition from management, Branson remained determined, arguing that leasing a single plane for a year could limit potential losses and provide an escape route if the project faltered. After 2 months of negotiations, Boeing agreed to lease a jumbo jet to Branson for a year. However, Virgin still faced challenges in obtaining flight permits, securing time slots, and setting up a ticketing system. To acquire the necessary permits, a proficiency test with airport officials was required. During this test, the uninsured plane, due to the lack of permits, collided with a flock of birds, causing an engine to explode and aborting the test. With the first commercial flight just 2 days away, Branson urgently needed a license and an engine replacement, amounting to approximately £600,000. Upon securing the new engine and license, Branson realized that the £600,000 expense had exceeded Virgin's $3 million credit limit, and the bank was unwilling to increase it. Virgin was on the verge of bankruptcy. To save the company, Branson pulled money from his stores worldwide, which proved sufficient to keep Virgin Airways operational. Under Branson's leadership, at just 33 years old, the airline gained legitimacy and success, overcoming its tumultuous beginnings. Triumph over adversity. Branson's record-breaking transatlantic voyage. In 1984, entrepreneur Ted Tolman sought an investor for his ambitious endeavor to construct a record-breaking boat to cross the Atlantic Ocean and claim the prestigious British Blue Ribbon Trophy. Recognizing the potential publicity benefits for his airline, Branson eagerly agreed to sponsor the venture. The team, which included experienced sailor Shea Blythe, set out from New York to England with the goal of surpassing the existing record of 3 days, 10 hours, and 40 minutes, 3 days into the journey. With a mere 60 miles remaining, disaster struck as a storm ravaged the boat's hull, ultimately leading to the Virgin Challenger's sinking. The crew members were left with no choice but to abandon ship and seek refuge on lifebuoys before being rescued by a passing tourist vessel. In a remarkable twist of fate, Branson encountered a photo of his newborn son for the first time aboard this very ship. As one of the passengers had a copy of the Evening Standard featuring the infant on its cover. Undeterred by this initial setback, Branson and Shea resolved to make a second attempt at the Blue Riband, this time opting to build a single-hull boat, the Virgin Atlantic Challenger 2. However, during their 1986 voyage, the fuel pump's filter became clogged, jeopardizing their chances of success once more. In a display of resourcefulness, Branson successfully petitioned Downing Street for assistance, resulting in an IF plane delivering replacement filters to the boat. With the engine operational once again, the Virgin Atlantic Challenger 2 completed the transatlantic crossing in an impressive 3 days, 8 hours, and 31 minutes, establishing a new world record for a 3,000-mile journey and solidifying Branson's legacy as a visionary risk-taker. Branson's humanitarian efforts, aid in Jordan and hostage rescue in Baghdad. During the tumultuous period of the Kuwait War in 1990, Sir Richard Branson demonstrated his commitment to humanitarian causes by providing much-needed assistance to Jordan and later helping secure the release of British hostages held in Baghdad. The escalating conflict, instigated by Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait, had far-reaching consequences, causing global upheaval and a substantial increase in aviation fuel prices. Amid this chaos, Branson received a crucial call from Queen Noor of Jordan, whom he had met on a previous expedition. As Jordan grappled with an influx of over 150,000 refugees from Iraq, the government urgently required 100,000 blankets to avert a crisis. Acting swiftly, Branson and his team managed to source and deliver 100,000 warm blankets to the region. They also reached out to organizations such as the Red Cross, UNICEF, and Sainsbury's, which donated several tons of rice. To transport these essential supplies, the Virgin crew stripped the seats from a Boeing 747, loading it with more than 40,000 blankets, medical supplies, and rice. On the return journey, they evacuated stranded individuals from Jordan. Despite this success, a number of British hostages remained detained in Baghdad. Branson took the initiative, negotiating a deal with Saddam Hussein through the King of Jordan. In exchange for medical aid, Hussein would release all women, children, and the sick. On October 23, Branson and a team of Virgin volunteers bravely entered Baghdad's treacherous airspace in a commercial jet, securing the safe release of most hostages. Regrettably, they were forced to leave the male hostages behind at the airport, who were eventually released weeks later. Reflecting on his extraordinary experiences, Branson embraces the philosophy that, if you don't take risks, you won't get anything. A testament to his unwavering determination and courageous spirit. Branson's humanitarian efforts, aid in Jordan and hostage rescue in Baghdad. During the tumultuous period of the Kuwait War in 1990, Sir Richard Branson demonstrated his commitment to humanitarian causes by providing much-needed assistance to Jordan and later helping secure the release of British hostages held in Baghdad. The escalating conflict, instigated by Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait, had far-reaching consequences, causing global upheaval and a substantial increase in aviation fuel prices. Amid this chaos, Branson received a crucial call from Queen Noor of Jordan, whom he had met on a previous expedition. As Jordan grappled with an influx of over 150,000 refugees from Iraq, the government urgently required 100,000 blankets to avert a crisis. Acting swiftly, Branson and his team managed to source and deliver 100,000 warm blankets to the region. They also reached out to organizations such as the Red Cross, UNICEF, and Sainsbury's, which donated several tons of rice. To transport these essential supplies, the Virgin crew stripped the seats from a Boeing 747, loading it with more than 40,000 blankets, medical supplies, and rice. On the return journey, they evacuated stranded individuals from Jordan. Despite this success, a number of British hostages remained detained in Baghdad. Branson took the initiative, negotiating a deal with Saddam Hussein through the King of Jordan. In exchange for medical aid, Hussein would release all women, children, and the sick. On October 23, Branson and a team of Virgin volunteers bravely entered Baghdad's treacherous airspace in a commercial jet, securing the safe release of most hostages. Regrettably, they were forced to leave the male hostages behind at the airport, who were eventually released weeks later. Reflecting on his extraordinary experiences, Branson embraces the philosophy that, if you don't take risks, you won't get anything. A testament to his unwavering determination and courageous spirit. The British Airways-Virgin Airways rivalry. A tale of sabotage, espionage, and justice. During the peak of his career in the 1990s, Sir Richard Branson's achievements in the aviation industry were not well received by the more established British Airways. In an effort to maintain their dominance, British Airways embarked on underhanded tactics to discredit and undermine Branson and his company, Virgin Airways. Their covert operations included contacting Virgin customers and falsely claiming that their flights were cancelled or sold out, offering them cheaper flights on British Airways, hacking into Virgin's data systems to access their booking information, hiring private detectives and publicists to investigate and tarnish Branson's reputation, and more. A Virgin customer brought these dubious actions to light after receiving calls from individuals claiming to be Virgin employees and offering her a seat on a Concorde flight after her Virgin flight was supposedly cancelled. British Airways denied any involvement, despite mounting evidence and testimonies from former employees. The smoking gun came in the form of a hard drive containing recorded conversations between BA executives, revealing that top management had orchestrated the campaign against Virgin. Armed with irrefutable evidence, Branson and his legal team proceeded to take BA to court. Realizing they had been caught red-handed, British Airways quickly changed their stance, shifting from denial to reconciliation. The outcome was the imposition of a hefty fine, £500,000 paid to Branson, and £110,000 to Virgin Atlantic, as compensation for individual and corporate defamation. British Airways was also required to issue a public apology and admit to their unscrupulous actions. In conclusion, this dramatic tale serves as a testament to Branson's unyielding spirit and determination to persevere in the face of adversity. In conclusion, Richard Branson's story teaches us that one can find joy in business by embracing challenges and boldly overcoming obstacles along the way.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe